What if I told you there is a tunnel right now, somewhere on an old forgotten highway that has swallowed more than 300 people, and not one of their bodies was ever found? Stay till the end, because the last thing that happened inside that tunnel will make you check the locks on your doors tonight. It started in the winter of 1987, when construction workers were digging through a mountain pass to connect two small towns that had been cut off from each other for generations. The plan was simple: blast through the rock, lay the road, build a tunnel just under 2 miles long, and open it for traffic before the next winter came. But the mountain did not want to be opened. On the very first day of drilling, 3 workers vanished without a trace, and their tools were found neatly stacked at the tunnel entrance, as if someone or something had placed them there. The foreman told the police it was probably an accident, maybe a cave-in. Maybe they ran off scared of the isolation. But when the search teams went in with dogs, every single dog refused to cross past the first 100 meters. They would whimper, plant their paws on the ground, and no amount of pulling could make them go further. The construction continued anyway, because deadlines do not wait for fear, and slowly, one by one, more workers began disappearing. By the time the tunnel was finally completed and opened for public use in 1989, 11 men were officially listed as missing, and the company quietly paid off their families to keep the story out of the newspapers. For the first few years, nothing seemed wrong. Cars passed through daily, trucks carried goods between the two towns, and life moved on as if the tunnel had healed whatever wound it had caused. But then in 1994, a school bus carrying 22 children entered the tunnel during a foggy evening, and it never came out the other side. Search teams walked the entire length of that tunnel within 20 minutes of the alarm being raised. They saw no wreckage, no bus, no children. Nothing except a strange smell of wet iron hanging in the air near the middle section, right where the tunnel takes a slight curve to the left. To this day, that curve is known locally as the turning point, because everyone who has ever gone missing was last seen near that exact spot. The government shut the tunnel down after the bus incident, sealing both entrances with steel gates and declaring it permanently closed for safety reasons. But that did not stop people from trying to sneak in, because there is something about forbidden places that pulls curious minds like a magnet. In 2003, a group of 4 college students broke the lock on the gate one night, wanting to film a documentary about the legend for their media class project. They walked in with flashlights, cameras, and a rope tied around the last person's waist, planning to go only as far as the rope allowed and then turn back. Their cameras survived, their bodies never did. When the footage was later recovered by local police, it showed the group walking calmly, laughing nervously, making jokes about ghosts until they reached the curve, the turning point, and the temperature on their equipment display dropped by almost 15 degrees in less than a minute. The audio picked up a low humming sound, like something breathing very slowly and very deeply. And then one of the students said the words that still haunt everyone who has watched that tape. He said, "Why does it feel like the tunnel is looking at us?" Seconds later, the flashlight beams began flickering. The rope around the last student's waist snapped clean without any force pulling it, and the camera fell to the ground, still recording, capturing nothing but darkness and the sound of 4 sets of footsteps fading deeper into the tunnel, followed by absolute silence. No bodies were ever recovered, no bones, no belongings. Nothing except one single shoe found near the curve, perfectly clean, without a speck of dust on it, as if it had been placed there minutes before the police arrived. After this incident, the government welded the gates shut with thick steel plates and posted a permanent guard post at both entrances. But locals say that even the guards refuse to stay there past sunset. One retired guard, who only agreed to talk on the condition that his name was never mentioned, said that on quiet nights you can hear voices coming from inside the tunnel. Voices that sound exactly like people calling out for help. But the moment you get close enough to make out the words, the voices stop completely, as if they know they have been heard. He said that once, during a particularly foggy night in 2011, he saw a young boy standing right at the tunnel entrance, dressed in old-fashioned clothes, staring directly at him without blinking. And when he radioed for backup and turned back around after just 3 seconds, the boy was gone. But his footprints, small and bare, led directly into the tunnel and simply stopped in the middle of the road, as if the child had lifted off the ground. Paranormal investigators from all over the country have tried to get permission to explore the tunnel with proper equipment, but every single request has been denied by the local authorities, who refuse to explain why, other than saying it is for public safety. One investigator managed to sneak a small drone through a gap in the steel plates in 2017, hoping to capture footage without risking human lives. The drone flew in smoothly for the first quarter mile, sending back clear video of damp walls, cracked concrete, and old abandoned construction equipment left behind from the 80s. But as it approached the curve, the video feed began distorting, the picture turning grainy and full of static. And then, for just 2 frames, barely visible unless you slow the footage down, frame by frame, you can see what looks like a tall, thin figure standing against the wall, its head tilted at an unnatural angle, watching the drone pass by. Right after that, the signal cut off completely and the drone was never recovered, despite being equipped with a tracking chip that should have worked even underground. When investigators tried to find the drone's last known location using satellite tracking, the coordinates pointed to a spot exactly at the turning point. But when a small recovery team was sent in, wearing full safety gear and carrying 2-way radios, they reported something even stranger. They said that once they reached the curve, their compasses started spinning wildly, pointing in every direction except forward, and the deeper they tried to go, the more the tunnel seemed to stretch, as if the path was getting longer with every step they took, even though from the outside everyone knows the tunnel is exactly 1.9 miles long. After walking for what felt like nearly 45 minutes without finding the drone or reaching the other end, the team leader ordered everyone to turn back immediately, and the moment they turned around, the exit was right there, barely 50 meters away, as if the tunnel had simply decided to let them go. Local legend says the tunnel does not just take people randomly, it chooses them, and the ones it takes are never seen again in this world. But sometimes, very rarely, people report seeing familiar faces standing at the tunnel entrance late at night. Faces of people who disappeared years ago, looking exactly the same age as when they vanished. Never aging, never speaking, just standing there, staring at the road until the moment someone tries to approach them, and then they simply fade into the darkness of the tunnel behind them. Some believe the mountain itself is cursed, that the workers in 1987 disturbed something ancient buried deep inside the rock when they first started blasting through it. something that had been sleeping for centuries and was never meant to be woken. Others believe it is not a curse at all, but a doorway, a thin place between our world and somewhere else entirely. And the tunnel is simply the crack through which that other place occasionally reaches through to pull people in. Whatever the truth is, the steel gates remain sealed to this day, rusting a little more with every passing year. And the guard post still stands empty most nights because nobody wants the job for long. If you ever find yourself driving through that region and you see an old abandoned road leading toward a mountain pass with a rusted steel gate blocking the way, do not stop. Do not get out to take pictures. And whatever you do, if you ever hear a voice calling for help from somewhere deep inside that tunnel, do not go in, because the tunnel is not looking for someone to save. It is only looking for someone new to keep. If this story gave you chills, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss the next terrifying tale we bring you.